Hey guys, so today I wanted to do a video about coming out in the workplace, which is something that I did, but my situation was kind of unique. It happened at a time where the company that I was working for was being sold and integrated into a new company. And as part of this process, because I was a partial owner of the company, um, I came out about being trans before the whole business deal ever went through. So for me, my coming out was kind of prior to even really becoming part of my workplace. Um, since then, I'm no longer at that job, so I'm back on my own, doing my own thing, working for myself. So my situation with coming out at work was a little bit different. But I do think I have some advice because I was still transitioning while at in a new workplace, and not everybody knew initially. The owners of the company knew, but not everybody at the entire company. And over the time that I was there, I did end up coming out to the rest of everybody else at the company. So for me, it wasn't really a horrible process because I never really feared for my job or anything like that. I guess I just was a little bit scared of the reaction of my coworkers, which I understand it's kind of like a dual fear. You're scared for your job when you come out, and then I think you're also scared about the work relationships that you probably already have. So I think that your approach to coming out at work should be completely different depending on your workplace. So there are kind of two approaches that I think I would recommend depending on your style and depending on your workplace. And the first is I guess you have to decide when you want to come out. So is it going to be before or after you start hormones? If it's before you start hormones, that's fine, but I think that coming out after you've been on hormones for a while probably makes a bit more sense. I think you'll save yourself a lot of worry if you put it off kind of until the last minute, I would say. Um, I don't really think you need to tell your workplace until you plan on actually showing up as the opposite gender. So until you're ready to kind of be pretty much full time, I think it's probably best to not tell your workplace. Um, Although that goes completely out the window if your workplace is a company that who provides insurance that will cover trans-related medical expenses. If that's the case, tell your HR department immediately. Um, so yeah, basically I would say either do a sort of like ease into the water approach if you're on HRT, and maybe tell a few people that are close to you that you know you can trust. Although doing that, you kind of run the risk a little bit of somebody leaking it and it becoming gossip, and then you might be forced to come out completely. So if you have a few friends, it can be nice to have some allies who know the truth. That's kind of how I did it, although I know that people ended up hearing through the grapevine. So in my case, it worked out pretty well, and it was nice to have a few people at work who did know before I was completely out to everybody. But that can backfire a little bit. Um, I think probably the very best way is wait until you're ready to go full time. Wait until you've been on hormones, and then just go talk to your HR department. But be prepared for your HR department to not have any idea what to do. They may or probably not didn't get any training on this, so they're probably as lost as the rest of the population when it comes to understanding trans people or how to treat trans people in the right way. So give them some good resources, and I can link to a few in the description. The HRC has a bunch of good ones. Um, Basically, just send them best practices for companies for how companies should handle transgender people, and then also be sure to ask your HR person about your health insurance coverage and if that does indeed or not, probably it won't cover any sort of trans related health expenses. So that's really all the details I have for coming out in the workplace. I know it wasn't really that helpful, but I think just the right approach is to be yourself. If you're on hormones, stay on hormones until you're ready to go full time, and then start easing into it at work. Just start dressing a little bit more femininely within your workplace's guidelines, and when you're ready to go, come out completely to the person who's in charge of HR at your company. Alright, I'll do a much better video next time. I just wanted to get something in because I know I had a gap in between the last couple. So, anyway, have a good night, everyone.